You just learned linked list and how to add elements to it. But then you open a LeetCode problem and as you read it, the furniture in your room starts floating. Hello everybody, welcome to Tech with Nanad, and today we will be talking about data structures and algorithms and LeetCode, and I'll be telling you all how I solved my 500 LeetCode problems. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. So before starting, let us first understand what exactly is LeetCode. So LeetCode is not Instagram, it's not Facebook, it's not Twitter. LeetCode is a coding platform. Now note, it is not GitHub, it is not any documentation page. LeetCode is like the gym for your brain. Now, why do you exactly use that? Simple, to get better at programming. LeetCode is a coding platform that introduces certain problems that you can solve using a programming language. You simply have to know a programming language. There will be a problem displayed to you on the platform, and you simply have to use your programming knowledge to solve that problem. Here, you can see there are a set of inputs given, there is an explanation given, and there is also an output given. You have to write an algorithm, where an algorithm basically means code. You have to write a certain code that will run on these type of inputs and give them the expected output required. So this is basically you are given a problem and you have to solve it. A LeetCode problem consists of three parts. One is the problem description, where you actually get to know what the problem is about. Two, the inputs, what the input array, what the inputs are, what variables are, etc., everything, and the output, how exactly you want to deliver the output. Is it an integer? Is it a list? Is it a print statement? What is it? Of course, LeetCode does not have print statement. Other websites like HackerRank do so. LeetCode only allows you to return something or nothing at all. There is no print statement as such involved. But yeah, that is the basic gist of what LeetCode is. Okay, so now let's get into the roadmap on how you should first start your LeetCode. The primary requirement for LeetCode any day will be number one, a programming language. You should have the knowledge of at least and at most one programming language. Trust me on this one. Don't jump to 10 different languages, maybe learn C++, Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby. No. Lock a language in. Mostly it's preferred if you're going for Java, use Java. If you're going for machine learning, you can use Python. Personally, I am a web dev, so I just chose C++ because its syntax is closest to the JavaScript syntax. And I kind of have a baseline in C++ as I learned it a long time ago. So it's more of my home language. So I chose that. But it's totally up to you. But it is generally preferred to use a language which will correlate with your development language. So if you're doing Java, go Java. If you're going Python, Python. I chose C++ because I felt like it was my home ground, but it's totally up. Solving problems is not just about writing code. It's about reading through that code like it's basic English. If you can't read through that code, you can never solve it. With mastery of the language, you also need the knowledge of OOPS. OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming Systems, which is also a way of writing real world objects or real world entities in your code. Oops, I'm telling you to do it. It's because it is important from a computer science perspective, but at the same time, it is also important in DSA. There are data structures like tries or DSU, which is a disjoint set union. These data structures need you to implement it in object format. There are certain questions on LeetCode which are based on design problems. In those design problems, you are given a struct or a class or whatever it is called in your choice of language. So these classes and structs need to be created by you. They will be called by LeetCode and you have to create the underlying data structure for it. So that is why OOPS is very important. And then you just basically hit two birds with one stone. You're doing it in terms of computer science and you're also doing it in terms of data structures. Number three, a roadmap. There is a sequence to target every single data structure. You don't start DSA and directly jump to dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is not a data structure, by the way. It is a methodology, but it's not the topic that we're discussing today. Maybe sometime later. There is a sequence to study DSA. Everybody has to start with arrays no matter what. Arrays are the core fundamentals of data structures and algorithms. I've said that in a reel that I've uploaded earlier, and arrays are the most used data structure in the entire world. So everybody starts off with arrays, then you go towards sorting algorithms, searching algorithms, you study what exactly are pointers, and after it, you study dynamic arrays, which are modifying arrays, changing arrays, arrays which change size internally. Then in C++, you have vectors, and then finally you level up towards other data structures like maps, like heaps, and there is a certain formatted roadmap for it. This can be a totally new video topic, by the way, on the sequence of data structures that you need to target and how to. If I am to term it myself, in my opinion, in very short, it should be arrays, then hashing. Hashing means unordered set and unordered map. After it, you can go for either heaps. I would choose you would go for heaps, but then heaps, if you're feeling it a little bit complicated, cut heaps down. Instead, we will go for stacks. then queues, then linked lists. After linked lists, I would directly direct you to trees because linked list involve a heavy pointer based approach. And when you're in that pointer zone, it's better to just target something which already has pointers, which is trees. And after trees, maybe you can go for heaps, and heaps after that, you can jump to graphs. Graphs and dynamic programming are very complicated. To understand them, you need a good amount of hand in data structures and algorithms. They are very syntax heavy. They are very, you can say, internally calculating types thing, that you have to keep calculating internally in your brain about what the next output could be. So it's better to stick to what you know and do this small level of DSA first. And once you reach that stack level of knowledge, you will automatically know where you have to go next. As they say, it comes with practice. So now that we have understood how you should do it, now I'll tell you how I solved my 500 problems on LeetCode. My LeetCode journey had very ups and downs. Don't think that I had just a super successful journey that I just sat for 6 months and I reached 500 problems. No, there were a lot of failures, a lot of inconsistency. There was a lot of procrastination. Please trust me on this one. I went through the same things that you are or you will. It was quite simple. I began my LeetCode journey on November or August of 2024. August or September of 2024, and I started learning data structures first. In November, I had to stop. I don't know why, but I lost all motivation, and the entirety of December, I simply spent solving one single problem every day. That too, just sitting for 10 minutes. If I don't get it, see the approach and solve it. That's what I was doing, and it was hurting my skill set, and I did not focus on it at all. Around January to February, I got an internship as a web developer, and I was actively working on delivering a pilot stage prototype. And I just completely just gave my 100% to it, to learn development as a whole, to learn software engineering practices as a whole. And during that time, I simply said bye bye DSA. And that was one biggest mistake. I could have simply given 2 hours a day, which I did not, and I missed my entire window of mastering DSA. I could have been way ahead than I am today now. But I wasted those 6 months by giving an excuse that, yeah, I'm an intern. But an intern does not mean that you will not do DSA, right? So I lost my consistency right there. Fast forward to mid 2025, around September, my internship ended. And I finally said, around August, I guess my internship ended. And I finally said, it's time to give it a go. It's time to get back to DSA. I had left DSA earlier on graphs, which I told you, graphs are very complicated. I was not getting anything. So I said, you know what, let's do it later. I started with graphs again. I sat through it. The first time I did not understand anything. Then I went to dynamic programming. I did not understand anything. I just said, let's just finish this first and then we can discuss about whatever we have to do. I finished all of it and I said, you know what? I don't know anything about graphs. So then in October, I locked in. For the entire month, I did graphs and DP only. 15 days, 30 problems on graphs, even 35 maybe. And on DP, 15 days, 40 problems. I did so much and I kept solving again and again and again. These problems I kept doing again and again and again. Today, if you wake me up from sleep and you tell me, hey, code trapping rainwater, optimal solution O of N, I would give it to you right there on the spot. That is the level of solving that I did. And eventually, this is where the point 4 comes in, consistency. I had to establish that consistency in October, on September. Right now, in 2025, you guys, it's just 5 months before. That's when I had to finally lock in and say, okay, for the next 1 year, I have to grind LeetCode at all costs. I have to get back to where I was. And I kept growing there and there again and again. After that, I finally started recognizing the underlying patterns. And then came November, I had my semester exams. So that's done. And in December, I won the Smart India Hackathon 2025. There will be a detailed video, of course, coming about it. But after winning SIH 25, I said, you know what, let's give yourself a break. Again, a mistake about consistency. I again made the mistake of saying, you know what, let's just rest for a while. I could have even used that month, but I said, you know what, I've just won the SIH 25, I deserve a rest. In fact, I did not. I should have grinded a lot, but yeah, I did not. I focused on the greater parts. I focused on what I thought was a greater part, which actually was not. And I wasted that time as well. But then in January, I began again, and till date, I have completely solved 514-ish problems, I guess. The last number I saw, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, God knows. By the time this video comes out, it may also be above 520. But that was my whole journey, and it involved a lot of inconsistency, and I followed the exact sequence of data structures that I told you. So I think it's more of consistency rather than actually, being able to solve it. Of course, LeetCode requires a lot of willpower. You must be willing to do LeetCode or else you cannot. But somewhere or the other, you do require consistency to do LeetCode as well. And from October, I stopped the approach of doing 10 problems a day, 5 problems a day. I simply did 3 problems, 3 which were challenging me, and I kept doing it every day. Starting something is way easier. Being consistent with it is not. The only advice I will give you is, no matter what sheet you follow, no matter what YouTuber you follow, it's all about your consistency. The more consistent you are with DSA, the more output you're going to get. So the summary is simple. Lock in a language, learn OOPS and just get into DSA and be consistent throughout. Lock in for the 6 months and then look back on your journey.
Thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, my mic turned off exactly during the outro, but I'm thankful it did not turn off during the video. But thank you everybody for watching. Please comment and please do visit my LeetCode profile. I've mentioned the link down in the description. And just that's it. Yeah. Ninad out.